You say you want a better life. You dream of success. You crave freedom, power, peace, purpose. But every morning, when that alarm rings, when the mirror reflects back the same exhausted face, when the work feels heavy and the path unclear, you hesitate, you delay, you scroll, you distract, you lie to yourself and say, just for today, and you put off the very habits that would save you. In this video, I'm going to rip the blindfold off. I'm going to show you exactly why the life you desire isn't far away. It's just buried under the discipline you refuse to master. If you're serious about changing your future, don't click off. This message is the mirror you've been avoiding. You see, discipline isn't punishment. It's the most powerful form of self-respect. When you choose discipline, you're not limiting yourself. You're liberating yourself. You're saying, I'm worth the effort. You're saying, my dreams matter more than my comfort. The life you want, the wealth, the strength, the confidence, the clarity, it already exists. It's not in someone else's hands. It's not in some perfect future. It's here, right, hidden behind the small, uncomfortable decisions you keep avoiding. Every missed workout, every excuse, every time you choose distraction over dedication, you reinforce the prison of your current reality. Most people wait for motivation. They say, I'll start when I feel ready. But let me tell you something that will change your life. Motivation is a lie if it isn't backed by discipline. Feelings are inconsistent. Some days you'll wake up ready to conquer the world, but most days you'll feel tired, uncertain, empty. That's where discipline becomes your weapon. It's the part of you that shows up when nothing else will. Discipline doesn't need a mood. It doesn't need a reason. It just does what must be done. Think of the most successful people you admire, the athletes, the creators, the leaders, the visionaries. They're not superhuman. They simply mastered the art of doing hard things repeatedly. They understood that success is not one big moment. It's thousands of small, disciplined choices stacked daily. Waking up early when they didn't want to, saying no to instant pleasure, studying when everyone else was relaxed, practicing when no one was watching. That's how excellence is born. Not in comfort, but in consistency. And let's talk about pain, because that's what you're really avoiding. Discipline hurts. It forces you to confront your laziness, your fears, your limitations. But here's the paradox. Avoiding discipline leads to a deeper, uglier pain. The pain of regret, the pain of staying the same, the pain of knowing you could have been more but chose less. And that pain lasts a lifetime. Discipline, on the other hand, is temporary. It's sharp, but it transforms you. It's the fire that forges the next version of yourself. Every rep, every early morning, every hour of focused effort, it all adds up. You don't see the change instantly, but day by day, something is shifting. You're becoming. There is no magical moment where everything will feel easy. Stop romanticizing the future. Start owning your present. The discipline you avoid is the gatekeeper of the life you say you want. You want financial freedom? It's on the other side of budgeting, sacrificing, studying, showing up. You want confidence? It's earned through discipline, through doing what you said you'd do long after the mood left. You want peace? Then discipline your thoughts. Filter out negativity. Create order. Control your focus. Every form of freedom is built on the back of self-control. You have two choices right now. Keep lying to yourself, keep blaming the world, your past, your circumstances, or draw a line in the sand and say, no more. From this moment forward, you become the kind of person who does the hard things, not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary, because your future deserves that level of respect. Discipline is not a burden. It's your invitation to become unstoppable. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to leap. You just need to take one step and then another. Stack small wins. Stack discipline. Stack actions that align with your vision. And when you fail, and you will, don't crawl back to comfort. Get up. Recommit. This is a lifetime contract with yourself. And the more you keep that promise, the more unshakable you become. The life you want is not some far-off fantasy. It's waiting for you behind every act of discipline you choose today. So, the next time you feel like skipping your routine, sleeping in, wasting hours on distractions, remember, you're not just losing time, you're burying your future. This isn't just about productivity. It's about becoming the kind of person who can carry the life they want. If you can't master yourself, you'll never master anything else. But if you do, if you build that discipline inch by inch, day by day, you'll wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and realize you've become someone you once only dreamed about. And when that moment comes, you'll know exactly why the old you had to die. The life you wanted was never out of reach. It was just waiting behind the discipline you once avoided. Ready to take the next step? Don't stop here. In the next video, we go even deeper into the silent habits that are either building your empire or destroying your future. Watch it now. You've come this far. Don't quit now. Most people will live and die in the same mental prison they were born into. Not because they weren't talented, not because they didn't have time, but because they refused to embrace discipline. They kept chasing feeling over function, ease over effort, and pleasure over progress. But you're not most people. You made it this far because something in you is tired of being average. Something in you is ready to wage war on your weaknesses. That's the first step. But now you must back that hunger with action. Discipline is what turns vision into reality. Everyone has a dream, but few have a schedule. Everyone has goals, but only the disciplined have systems. Do you understand that? Dreams without discipline are just hallucination. You'll talk a good game, post motivational quotes, tell people what you're working on. But without discipline, your life remains a loop of empty ambition. Stop performing for the world and start producing for yourself. Here's the brutal truth. No one will ever force you to become great. No one will rescue you from your excuses. If you don't take full ownership of your time, your habits, your thoughts, you will live and die in the same cycle of regret. The world doesn't hand out success. It hands out consequences. The disciplined get the reward. The lazy get the regret. You want to feel alive? Do hard things. You want to be proud of yourself? Earn it. Build a routine so solid, so sacred, that it becomes your armor. Wake up early. Move your body. Master your mind. Study. Grind. Rest with purpose. Repeat. Stack that life brick by brick. Not for the applause, not for validation, but because the disciplined version of you is the only one strong enough to carry the weight of the life you say you want. You think discipline is hard? Try regret. Try looking back a year from now and realizing you're in the exact same place, with the same complaints, the same fears, the same next Monday mindset. That pain will eat you alive. But if you start today, if you begin with one act of discipline, just one, you shift momentum, and momentum is everything. This is your edge. This is your weapon. And the beautiful thing about discipline, it's not talent, it's not luck, it's a choice, which means anyone can have it, even you, especially. So burn the excuses, burn the fake timelines, burn the false hope that life will magically shift on its own. It won't, but you can shift. And when you do, the entire universe will begin to respond to the new standard you set. Keep building that version of you, day by day, quietly, relentlessly, because on the other side of all this discipline is the version of you that no longer needs to be saved. He is the fire. She is the force. You are the one. And that is how the disciplined rise. And don't forget this, discipline isn't a punishment. It's a gift. It's not about restriction. It's about liberation. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you say no to what's easy and yes to what's necessary, you forge a stronger, clearer, more capable version of yourself. The world will try to convince you that discipline is rigid, robotic, lifeless, but they're wrong. Discipline is freedom. It's the ability to wake up and know that your life is moving forward with purpose. It's the peace that comes from living in alignment with who you say you want to become. You see, the people you admire, the ones who built extraordinary lives, they didn't get there by chance. They weren't simply lucky. They showed up when no one was watching. They worked through doubt, through failure, through temptation. They sacrificed comfort for character. They did the things they didn't want to do so they could become the person they were born to be. And you can too. You just have to decide that your future matters more than your mood. Let me say that again. Your future must matter more than your mood, because discipline isn't about how you feel today. It's about honoring the person you promised yourself you'd become. Some days that promise is the only thing pulling you out of bed. Some days that promise is what drives you to show up when your mind screams. But if you stay consistent, if you build your life on routine instead of random emotion, you'll become unstoppable. Most people will never get this. They'll keep chasing motivation, keep waiting for the right time, keep hoping someone else will come along and push them. But you're different. You've seen what discipline unlocks. You've tasted what it feels like to gain control of your mind, your body, your habits. And once you've seen that, you can never go back. You either evolve or you expire. So today, right now, make the vow. No more delay. No more negotiating with weakness. No more living beneath your potential. Step into the fire. Choose the path of discipline. And remember, you are one decision away from a completely different life. One decision. Make it count. Because when you choose discipline, you choose destiny. You stop being a slave to chaos, and you start becoming the architect of your own future. The truth is, no breakthrough is coming to a distracted, inconsistent version of you. You will not build a legendary life with a casual effort. You will not become unstoppable if you keep stopping. The life you want, the clarity, the peace, the power, it's already within your grasp, but it's locked behind the discipline you keep avoiding. Every excuse you make, every comfort you prioritize, every shortcut you take, it costs you time. It steals your potential. It delays the person you were meant to become. And here's the part no one likes to say out loud. The more you delay, the harder it gets. Discipline compounds, but so does regret. And one day that regret will scream louder than your excuses ever did. But you don't need a miracle. You need a schedule. You need consistency. You need to show up whether it's raining, whether you're tired, whether you're doubting yourself. Because every time you do the hard thing, instead of the easy thing, you build proof. You prove to yourself that you are not weak, you are not average, you are not a slave to distraction. You are becoming something rare, a person who keeps their word, especially to themselves. Look around, most people are stuck in loops. Wake up, scroll, complain, repeat. Their dreams are suffocating under layers of comfort. They talk big, but act small. Don't become that. Don't waste this one chance you have to live with intensity, direction, and purpose. You weren't created to blend in. You were built to break patterns, to raise standards, to lead. So burn the plan B. Cut the safety nets. Make discipline your lifestyle, not something you try, but something you live. Because discipline is not the enemy. It is the bridge. The bridge from who you are to who you could be. Cross it. Don't wait. Don't hope. Don't wish. Decide, do, dominate. And if you're still listening, you're already different. You're not just here for hype, you're here to transform. So don't just consume this message, embody it, apply it, live it, because the life you want is not out there. It's not in the next video or the next book or the next piece of motivation. It's already inside you, buried beneath the excuses, waiting for you to dig it out with daily discipline. Now go become the person your future is counting on. When you're ready to take the next step, the next video is waiting for you, but only if you're ready to go all in. And let me say this clearly, if you don't develop discipline now, life will discipline you later. The pain you're avoiding by skipping the hard things doesn't disappear. It accumulates, it builds interest, and eventually it comes back as regret, missed opportunities, and a life that feels hollow. But if you choose the pain of discipline today, you'll never have to face the pain of being average tomorrow. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when your feelings beg you not to. It's showing up when nobody's watching. It's training when there's no applause. It's sticking to the plan when distraction whispers, just this once. That voice, the one always looking for a shortcut, is the very thing holding you back from the life that's meant to be yours. There's a life where you wake up with clarity, where you walk with power, where you don't flinch in the face of discomfort because you've built your identity around resilience, not convenience. But you don't reach that life by being interested. You reach it by being committed. You don't just want this, you work for this. Stop waiting for a better mood, a better day, a better setup. Nothing changes until you change. No strategy works if you keep quitting on yourself. There's no breakthrough without obedience. There's no greatness without grind. You want results? Stay in the stay in the fire long enough for the weakness to burn off. Stay with your discipline long enough for your identity to evolve. Because the truth is this, every disciplined choice you make writes a new line in the story of who you are. Every morning you wake up early, every time you say no to temptation, every session where you train your body, your mind, your spirit, you are not just surviving another day. You are becoming someone the old you would be afraid of. And the old you should be afraid, because he's being replaced. So the question is no longer, can I do this? It's, am I willing to become the kind of person who does this no matter what? You already know what needs to be done. You already know the discipline you've been avoiding. The hard thing, that's the door. Walk through it. Slam it behind you. And don't look back. Because the life you want, it's not a fantasy. It's a formula. Discipline. Daily. Without negotiation. That's how you get it. And if you're ready to take this energy to the next level, the next video is not just content. It's your call to action. Click it, watch it, live it. The disciplined version of you is waiting on the other side. Let me remind you, nobody is born with discipline. It's not a talent. It's not a gift. It's not something reserved for the elite. Discipline is built. It's forged in decision after decision, in thousands of small choices that no one claps for. It's staying in the gym when it burns. It's turning the phone off when dopamine is screaming for your attention. It's choosing the uncomfortable conversation, the early morning grind, the late night study when every part of you wants to quit. And here's the kicker. The more you train your mind to stay with discomfort, the easier life gets. Because the pain you feel now from effort, from consistency, from repetition, it builds resilience. It becomes your armor, your edge. While the world is looking for hacks and shortcuts, you're building roots. You're building something unshakable. Every day you wake up and choose discipline, you are rejecting the lie that success is random. You're rejecting the fantasy that someday life will magically get better without effort. You're rejecting your old self, the one who broke promises, made excuses, and played smart. That version of you is gone, because this new you, he knows what's at stake. He knows that discipline is not restriction, it's liberation. It's the freedom to look in the mirror and respect the man staring back. It's the freedom to walk into any room knowing you're not lucky to be there. You earned it. You built it. Brick by brick. Hour by hour. The life you want is on the other side of your laziness, your fear, your excuses. And here's the truth. No one's going to carry you there. No one is coming to force you to grow. If you don't decide today to become the man who follows through, then life will pass by. The months will blur, the years will vanish, and one day you'll realize the only thing you needed was discipline. So ask yourself right now, what are you avoiding that you know would change everything? That's your task. That's your test. The life you want is hidden behind it. Unlock it, own it, live it, because your future self is waiting to shake your hand, and he's hoping you finally choose discipline. And when you choose discipline, you don't just change your results, you change your identity. You go from being the kind of person who talks about what he'll do to the kind of person who just does it, quietly, relentlessly, without applause. You stop looking for motivation and you start moving with intention. You stop chasing comfort and you start chasing growth. You stop needing permission and you start commanding your own life, because discipline rewires your brain. Every time you act against comfort, you prove to yourself that you're in control, not your feelings, not your distractions, not your environment, you. And over time, something incredible happens. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to believe yourself. And that belief, that's the foundation of everything great. You want to be respected, be disciplined. You want real confidence, be disciplined. You want freedom, financially, emotionally, spiritually. It's all waiting behind the discipline you keep running from. Stop trying to feel ready. Stop looking for the perfect moment. That moment is now. Because if you don't build the life you want through discipline, you will live the life you don't want by default. Don't let another week go by convincing yourself that tomorrow will be different. That version of you, the one who breaks promises to himself, has to die today. Kill him with discipline. Replace him with action. Overwhelm your old patterns with new standards. Let people wonder what changed. Let your habits speak so loud that no words are needed. Let your life become so aligned with greatness that mediocrity can't even look you in the eye anymore. You want the life, you want the freedom, you want the power, earn it, every single. Because the truth is simple. The life you want is already yours, but only if you're disciplined enough to claim it. Now watch this next video. Don't scroll, don't delay, because if this message hits you, the next one will elevate you. Let's go deeper, let's go higher. This is just the beginning. You have to train yourself like your future depends on it, because it does. Every excuse you give yourself, every time you justify skipping the hard thing, every moment you delay action because you don't feel like it, is a silent agreement to stay average. And deep down, that's what hurts the most. Not the hard work, not the failure, but knowing you were meant for more, and choosing less anyway. You weren't born to play small. You weren't created to live in fear. You were made with something rare inside you. But it only comes out when you burn the weakness off through the fire of discipline. Most people don't change because they want comfort and transformation at the same time, but those two things are enemies. You will never build the life you want if you keep protecting the parts of yourself that are holding you back. The life you dream of is not handed to you. It's extracted from the version of you who didn't quit, from the one who got up early even when no one noticed, who said no to pleasure so he could say yes to purpose, who chose pain over distraction, growth over comfort, discipline over ease. The people you admire didn't get there by magic. They made choices that most people are too lazy or afraid to make. They showed up after failure. They stayed quiet and focused when the world screamed for attention. They sacrificed temporary pleasure for permanent power. That's what separates the successful from the forgotten. You have that same ability, but you have to decide. Because every day you wake up and avoid discipline, you dig the grave of your own potential. Every day you delay is another day your dream life waits in silence, wondering if you'll ever become the person strong enough to claim it. Keep showing up. Keep sharpening the edge. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about unlocking freedom. The freedom to control your time, your money, your health, your mind. Without it, you're just a slave to whatever feels good in the moment. But with it, you become dangerous. Focused, calm, unshakable. The life you want isn't lost. It's just hidden behind the discipline you keep avoiding. Discipline is not a mood. It's not something you feel your way into. It's a code, a personal law, a standard that says, even if I'm tired, I go. Even if I'm scared, I act. Even if no one claps, I show up. Because if you only move when you feel like it, then your life is being controlled by weakness. And weakness never built anything worth living for. Your mind will always look for an exit, an easier road, a softer path. That's its job, survival. But you're not here to survive. You're here to lead, to build, to shape something from nothing. And that requires sacrifice. Not once, not twice, but every single day. The person who becomes unstoppable is the one who falls in love with the process. The grind no one sees, the hours no one claps for, the focus that makes other people uncomfortable. That's where the real transformation lives. You don't need motivation. You need a mission. You don't need hype. You need habits. You don't need applause. You need accountability. You don't need a perfect plan. You need brutal consistency. Discipline is not some magical energy that shows up when life is easy. It's the refusal to break, especially when life is hard. And here's the truth most people avoid. Everything you think you're waiting for is actually waiting for you to grow up and become the person who can handle it. You want the body? Then become the man who trains like his life depends on it. You want the success? Then act like someone who can be trusted with power. You want peace? Then cut the chaos out of your habits. The result is never the problem. The problem is always your ability to maintain the discipline required to hold that result. You say you want to be great? Then prove it in silence. Prove it in pain. Prove it when no one is looking. That's where greatness is earned. Not in the highlight, but in the hours no one talks about. Your goals don't need more wishing. They need more war. The war against your old self. The war against your distraction. The war against the excuses that sound so reasonable when whispered by a weak mind. And the most dangerous part, every time you let that weaker voice win, you lose a piece of your edge. But every time you say no to distraction and yes to discipline, you carve out a new layer of power, a new level of identity. You become the type of man who commands respect, not because of his words, but because of how he lives. Every day you delay, you're practicing quitting. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, You reinforce the idea that your word means nothing. And if your word means nothing to you, then why should the world take you seriously? That's the sickness, not just distraction, not just laziness, but the erosion of self-respect. And discipline is how you cure it. Discipline rebuilds the bridge between who you are and who you could be. You keep wondering why your dreams feel so far away. It's not fate. It's not lack of opportunity. It's the 1,000 tiny decisions you make daily to stay the same. You scroll when you should study. You sleep when you should rise. You talk about goals instead of building them. You're always almost ready, always about to start, always waiting for perfect timing. But perfection is the lie that keeps you mediocre. Discipline doesn't wait for clarity. It creates. The real ones, they act in confusion. They move through fog. They train when it hurts, because they understand that no one ever built a legacy by doing what was comfortable. Look around. Most people have traded greatness for convenience. They want the six-pack, but they don't want the sweat. They want the business, but they don't want the blood. They want peace, but they feed their mind junk every single day. And then they wonder why they feel lost. It's not a mystery, it's math. You will never outrun the cost of undisciplined living. Discipline doesn't restrict your life. It gives you access to a better one. A life where you trust yourself. A life where you can walk into any room and know you've earned your place. A life where your actions echo louder than your words. That's what most men are missing. They think freedom means doing whatever you want. No. Real freedom is having power over yourself. It's when your cravings don't control you, when your moods don't move you, when your habits work for you, not against you. You're not tired. You're unaligned. You're not weak. You're undisciplined. You're not confused. You're distracted. And the cure is simple: ruthless structure, relentless repetition, radical honesty. You don't need more time. You need to make the time matter. And you don't need more motivation. You need to stop lying to yourself about what your potential really costs. You already know what needs to be done. You've always known. You just keep hoping there's an easier way. There isn't. The life you want is hidden in the discipline you avoid. And let's be honest, discipline isn't glamorous. No one applauds you for turning off your phone at 5 a.m. to train. No one celebrates you for saying no to distractions, for sitting in silence, for grinding through repetition. But that's the point. Discipline is quiet. It's thankless. It happens in the dark when no one's watching. And that's exactly why it transforms you. Because every time you choose discipline, you send a signal to your future. I'm coming. I'm not who I was. I'm not staying stuck. You don't rise by chance. You rise by choice. Discipline is how the weak become strong. It's how the lost become focused. It's how the forgotten become unstoppable. You want to be that version of yourself that people can't ignore. Then do what most won't. Outlast your urges. Outwork your excuses. Outperform your path. The truth is, discipline is the most loving thing you can do for yourself, because it means you refuse to leave your potential untapped. You refuse to settle for a version of yourself that is less than what you were born to be. And yes, it's hard. But so is being broke, so is regret, so is living a life full of what-ifs and could-have-beens. You will suffer either way. Choose the suffering that builds you. Choose the path that costs you comfort but pays you power. Most people will never see the highest version of themselves because they never had the discipline to build it. Don't let that be your story. Right now, in this moment, you are either training your greatness or tolerating your weakness. Every action counts. Every choice matters. And no one can save you from the weight of your own undisciplined life except you. But the good news, you don't need perfect conditions. You don't need permission. You just need a decision. Decide that you're done playing small. Decide that you've suffered enough. Decide that discipline isn't punishment. It's the doorway to the life you crave. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the highest form of self-respect. When you say no to temporary pleasure, you're saying yes to lasting power. When you delay gratification, you speed up your growth. And when you commit to doing what must be done, regardless of how you feel, you unlock a version of yourself that fear can't shake, laziness can't reach, and excuses can't touch. That version of you, the one buried beneath years of avoidance, distraction, and hesitation, it's still there. It's waiting. Waiting for you to stop negotiating with weakness. Waiting for you to stop living at 60% when you were built for 100%. waiting for you to become the kind of person who doesn't need external motivation because internal standards are already set. That's what discipline does. It rewires you. It sharpens your focus, trains your emotions, and forces your actions to align with your vision. Think about it. The person with discipline doesn't need perfect conditions. They don't wait for inspiration. They don't ask, do I feel like it today? They just move. They just act because they've realized something powerful, that discipline is freedom. The freedom to become more. The freedom to choose your future over your feelings. The freedom to build a life so strong that mediocrity can't even breathe in it. Every day you're either becoming the architect of your life or the victim of your habit. If you keep waiting for the mood to be right, the moment to feel easier, or the motivation to hit, you'll be stuck in the same place 10 years from now, calling it bad luck when it was really just lack of discipline. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. Because the uncomfortable truth is this: everything you say you want, the strength, the wealth, the health, the peace, it's already possible, but it's hidden behind the doors you keep refusing to open. And every time you choose comfort, you lock yourself out of the life that could have been yours. But when you wake up and say, no more, when you draw a line in the sand and commit to doing what most people won't, you shift, you evolve, you rise. And when you rise, truly rise, you begin to see the world differently. You stop craving shortcuts. You stop chasing the easy route. You begin to understand that every rep you didn't want to do, every early morning you didn't want to face, every sacrifice you made when no one was watching was carving out the future others will one day call unbelievable. But you'll know it wasn't luck. It was earned. That's what discipline is. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It's silent work in dark hours. It's saying no to the temporary for the sake of the eternal. It's doing the hard thing when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when the results haven't come yet, and doing it anyway. You see, most people won't do this. They'll scroll for hours but won't sit with themselves for 5 minutes in silence. They'll dream of success but break down the moment discomfort shows up. They'll talk about ambition but live like passengers in their own lives, letting emotion, distraction, and doubt take the wheel. And you know what? That's fine for them, but not for you. Not anymore. Because there comes a time when you stop identifying with your past, when you stop excusing your laziness, justifying your distractions, or defending your limitations. There comes a time when you look in the mirror and say, that version of me, the undisciplined, unfocused, excuse-filled version, he doesn't get to lead anymore. From now on, discipline takes the lead. Discipline isn't something you try, it's something you become. A way of life, a code, and once it's locked in, everything changes. You walk differently, you think sharper, you speak with weight, and most importantly, you stop folding when life pushes back, because now you push harder. And when you begin living like this, truly living with discipline as your spine, you no longer wait for motivation. You become the source. You become the fire other people stand near just to feel alive. Because while they're still looking for inspiration, you're becoming it. While they're still searching for hacks, you're building habits. While they're still chasing validation, you're mastering self-respect. Understand this: the life you want is not hidden behind luck or connections or timing. It's buried deep inside the daily decisions you've been avoiding. It's tucked away inside the 5 a.m. wake-ups, the honest self-reflection, the disciplined diet, the focused hours of work when your mind screams for distraction. That's where your next level lives. Not in the future, but in what you consistently do today. Discipline makes your life louder without you saying a word. It turns your presence into power. You walk into a room and people feel the difference. Not because you talk big, but because you live differently. You carry the weight others run from. You endure storms they can't even imagine. You're not chasing a better life anymore. You're creating it, brick by brick, through relentless action and unwavering focus. Every time you choose the hard road, you're building something unshakable within yourself. Every time you say no to distraction, you say yes to purpose. Every time you sacrifice comfort, you take a step toward freedom. And eventually, all those steps lead to a version of you you've never met. A version that doesn't flinch under pressure, doesn't beg for rescue, doesn't fold when life tests your patience. That version leads. That version builds. That version wins. And the best part, that version isn't a dream. It's a decision, one you make every single day. So now the question becomes, how long will you keep postponing the life that's waiting on the other side of your discipline? Every time you put it off, every time you scroll instead of study, every time you sleep instead of sacrifice, every time you run from the discomfort that was sent to strengthen you, you're not just wasting time, you're trading your future. You're telling your dreams they're not worth the effort. And that is the silent killer of potential. Not failure, but delay. Not pain, but avoidance. Discipline is not about being harsh. It's about being honest. Honest enough to say, the way I'm living is beneath the life I desire. Honest enough to cut off the habits, the environments, the people, even the thoughts that weaken your grip on the future you claim to want. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another YouTube video. You need ownership. You need to look yourself in the mirror and say, I will not be a prisoner of my impulses. I will not let another year slip through my fingers because I was waiting to feel ready. The secret? No one ever feels ready. Winners act anyway. Builders build anyway. Warriors train anyway. And when you do that enough times, you become the kind of person who doesn't need to be saved because you already rescued yourself through relentless, disciplined effort. That's how legacies are born. That's how destinies are forged. Not in comfort, not in inspiration, but in discipline. Cold, daily, ordinary, invisible discipline. Because it's never about one big move. It's about the 1,000 small ones that no one sees. It's about waking up early when no one claps. It's about saying no when no one's watching. It's about choosing purpose over pleasure every damn day. And over time, those decisions harden you into someone unbreakable, someone undeniable, someone who no longer needs to hope for success because they're becoming it. So remember this, the life you want is not far away. It's just on the other side of the hard things you keep avoiding. And the minute you stop running, the minute you lock in, the minute you say no more escaping, no more excuses, from now on, I show up, that's when the game changes forever. Discipline isn't a punishment. It's the purest form of self-respect. And the moment you truly understand that is the moment you start becoming unstoppable. You think discipline is what restricts your freedom, but that's the greatest lie ever sold. The truth is, lack of discipline is what's enslaving you. To your moods, to your impulses, to comfort, to chaos, to distractions dressed up as entertainment. You think you're free because no one's forcing you to do anything, but what kind of freedom is that if you're too mentally weak to command yourself? Real freedom is when you're in charge, not your appetite, not your fears, not your fatigue. Freedom is when you can do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Freedom is waking up and moving with purpose, knowing you have the power to build your future brick by brick, no matter how heavy each one feels. And that power only comes from discipline. See, life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you tolerate. And the longer you tolerate laziness, distractions, and excuses, the longer you stay stuck in the same cycle begging for results you haven't earned, crying over progress you've sabotaged. The truth is, harsh but freeing. You are responsible for your life. And when you truly accept that, there is no room left for blame. The reason your life hasn't changed is because your standards haven't changed. You're still entertaining the same patterns, the same circles, the same excuses. You want a breakthrough without breakdowns. You want success without sacrifice. But listen carefully. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. And you don't cross that bridge by thinking about it. You cross it by waking up early when your mind screams sleep, by saying no when your body begs for comfort, by showing up again and again and again when there's no applause, no reward, no visible results yet. You keep showing up anyway, because that's how you earn transformation. Discipline is how you reclaim your life. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you tell the world, I am no longer available for mediocrity. And if you stay with that energy, if you live in that mindset long enough, the results will chase you. The confidence will grow in, and one day, you'll look back and realize that the very life you once dreamed of is the life you built, one disciplined day at a time. The life you want is not in the motivational videos you binge while avoiding your work. It's not in the books you buy but never finish. It's not even in the vision board you stare at every morning. It's hidden in the quiet, repetitive, uncomfortable decisions you keep skipping. It's hidden in the early mornings when no one is watching, in the late nights when your friends are partying and you're grinding, in the workouts you show up for when your muscles ache, in the financial discipline when spending is easier than saving. It's hidden where most people refuse to look in the pain of consistency. You're not falling behind because you're not talented. You're falling behind because you keep waiting to feel like it. But success doesn't care how you feel, and discipline doesn't ask for your mood. It demands your decision. Every time you choose what's easy over what's right, you weaken your future. You rob tomorrow's version of you of the strength, the wealth, the peace that today's discipline would have built. You want a strong mind? Earn it through discipline. You want a powerful body? Sculpt it with discipline. You want financial freedom? Budget and build with discipline. There is no area of your life that discipline won't elevate, and no weakness that it won't expose. But here's what they don't tell you. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about alignment. Alignment with your goals, with your purpose, with your higher self. You'll fall off track sometimes. That's human. But discipline means you don't stay down. You don't let one bad day become your identity. You recommit. You realign. You rise. And with every disciplined act, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Not the person driven by emotion. Not the one who starts and stops. Not the one who makes excuses when life gets hard, but the one who finishes what they started. The one who walks into every room with unshakable focus. The one who has earned the right to be trusted with money, with leadership, with influence, with a legacy. Because that's what's at stake here. Your legacy. Your children are watching. Your future self is waiting. The world is shaped by those who master themselves, and you can't lead anything, not a business, not a family, not a mission, until you first lead yourself. So here's the truth, raw and unfiltered. The life you dream about is already yours, but only if you're willing to suffer for it. Not suffer in misery, but in discipline, in choosing growth over comfort, choosing to show up when it's inconvenient, choosing to master the boring, brutal basics over and over again, until greatness becomes your second nature. No one's coming to hand it to you. No mentor, no parent, no boss, no friend. It's you versus the weak version of you, and the only way to win is discipline. You don't need more motivation. You need a decision, a line drawn in the sand that says, I'm done negotiating with mediocrity. I'm done living below my potential. From this moment on, I become dangerous, focused, and disciplined. No matter how I feel, no matter how long it takes, no matter who doubts me, because discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It's how you tell the world, I am not here to play small. I am here to build a life so solid, so rare, so untouchable, that it inspires every soul that crosses my path. And if you still think this is just about hard work, you've missed the point. This is about building you, a you so refined that no storm can shake you, a you so prepared that no opportunity can pass you by, a you so powerful that even fear starts to fear you. The life you want isn't waiting, it's hiding right behind the discipline you've been avoiding. Now go get it.